Hello, 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 and welcome to your favorite bad movie podcast. The only podcast brave enough to ask the question, if this movie's so bad, why do you like it so much? We're your hosts. My name is Chris Anderson, and with me I have, as always, my lovely wife, Anna.
Hello.
And my lovely friend, Greg.
Hello.
And we have with us a very special guest this week. You might know her as a librarian. You might know her as a proud rabbit owner. But I know her as my friend, Kate Bellock. Kate, how are you?
I'm doing good. I'm really happy to be here and share this weird little movie with you guys. So I'm really excited.
And you chose our movie this week, and you chose for your favorite bad movie, once again, someone that did not hesitate. You chose a classic, a very, I'm going to say, popular choice for worst movie ever made.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
Troll
yeah.
2. What
Troll
drew
2.
you to Troll 2? Or tell us your personal history with Troll 2. How did you first see Trolls 2?
Well, I don't remember like where I first heard of Troll 2. It was possibly from my older brother, or else I just heard about it online. I don't know. But the first time I saw it was what I think is kind of the purest, most ideal way to experience it for the first time, which was, it was probably 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. My husband was flipping through channels. I saw the name pop up on the bottom of the screen, Troll 2, and I said, stop. Like, we have to watch this. We have to watch this right now. This is famously one of the worst movies ever made. And so we did, and it met all of my expectations, exceeded my expectations.
Well, fair enough. Fair enough. What about you guys? Had you seen Troll 2 before?
I think so. Did they do it on MST3K?
There is a riff tracks for it.
I don't think so. I don't think
so.
it would have been in public domain. They wouldn't have had the rights.
Oh, right, because it's actually MGM. But I know I've seen it before, but I don't quite remember what context.
How about you, Greg? You got a familiarity with Troll 2?
Yeah, so oddly enough, I think I have mentioned on the show before, but for those who don't know, I used to be a closed captioner. And so I had to caption this film.
Oh,
it was
wow.
one of those that like I knew about, it's like, because it's it's part of what I would call like the holy trinity of bad film. Manos, Troll 2, and The Room, I feel like are like the three that people know, even if they don't know bad film, So I was excited, and it's a very bizarre film to be captioning and just being like, I'm trying to translate this into text, and trying to get across the subtext.
You'd get a close reading of the dialogue.
Such a close read of the insanity. Yes. So yeah, I was so happy and it was IFC. Not that I think anyone would censor or cut anything, but still, it was just like, I'm glad we're getting the whole thing. Like, I don't have to worry that this is going to be censored somehow, even just for time, because I want to see every piece of Troll 2.
Absolutely.
My history with Troll 2, I remember seeing it when I worked back at Kim's Video, and I was dating somebody, and we rented Troll 2 to check it out because we'd heard about it. And we looked up online a drinking game that involved orange juice, vodka, and blue curacao to make a green drink.
Oh boy.
And we followed the rules of the drinking game and got drunk and made out, which I think is probably the ideal way to watch Troll 2.
Yeah.
But it was also, well, for any listeners who are not familiar with Troll 2, just a brief synopsis of the plot to hold in your mind. A family of 4 heads out to the country to the city of Nilbog, which turns out to be full of goblins that want to turn them into animal-plant hybrids and eat them. Yep. Fair enough?
Yep.
I mean, I'd call it a village, not a city.
Yeah, that's fair. That's
It's
fair.
Yeah.
very
It,
small.
it might not even be incorporated.
It's a question I asked myself.
That's why you won't find it on any map. But with that personal history and summary out of the way, do you guys want me to transition to the next segment of the show?
I'd
The
love for you
context.
to do that.
I'm very excited for context. Yeah.
Awesome. Another transition knocked out of the park.
Damn! I wish I had some context about the background of the film. Script director, actors on set. What was going on screen? I wanna hear some details. Gossip, scandal, all that shit. Can't imagine I'll get tired of it.
So, Troll 2 came out in the year 1990. It was directed by one Claudio Fragasso under the screen name Drake Floyd.
Nice.
Pretty good screen name.
That's a very good screen name.
It was written by Claudio based on a story by himself and his wife, Rosella Drudi. And it seems a little vague how much each one of them wrote, but they were frequent collaborators, he and his wife. Fragasso is from Rome. He was born on October 2nd, 1951, so he's about 38, 39 when this was in production. At this point, he had directed 12 and written 35 films.
Whew.
Oh,
Yeah,
I need
he
to
was
see
no
some of his
greenhorn.
other stuff.
I'll tell you, I watched a film that he made previous to this called Night Killer.
Okay, I think I've heard of that one.
It is wild. It's very much it seems to be like he was trying to cross Nightmare on Elm Street with a giallo,
Oh boy.
but with almost no visual flair.
Oh, sounds fantastic.
Yeah, no, I strongly recommend it. And honestly, more than anything, this made me want to check out more Claudio Fragasso films.
Yeah.
I think he's got a deep bench that people have not mined. This is his fifth film where he was directing an English-speaking cast. He has also worked with Spanish, French, and Filipino casts and crews in addition to Italians.
those seem easier to bridge, though. Well, I guess Filipino isn't a Romance language. Well, would depend. I don't know what Filipino, but I don't think any of them are Romance languages. But I think Spanish and French and Italian are.
Yeah, I could see that.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Many point to the language barrier between the cast and crew as a point of origin for the issues in the film, or the fact that the script was originally written in Italian and then translated in English, and Fragasso insisted that the actors stick to the script as written.
Of course.
You could say that Fragasso is being pompous for exerting this type of control over actors who had a better working knowledge of the language. But he also had a lot more experience than them, to be fair. You know, this guy has done like 30 films, and most of his cast had never been in a feature film before. All except for 3 members of the cast. So it's like, if I had made 12 films and some foreign dentist comes over to me, he's like, I'll tell you how to write a movie. I'm like, shut
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I'm gonna stick up for Claudio Fragasso in this one. Now, I mean, did anybody else watch the documentary Best Worst Movie?
Yes.
I've heard of it. I've never seen
I've seen it a couple of times. Yeah.
I feel like it unduly painted Fragasso as a villain. I wish that I hadn't watched it immediately before watching Troll 2, because it also put me in that mindset of like, someone showing you a YouTube video and watching your face as you watch it. Like I put too much pressure on me to be like actively engaged. But that said, it is an interesting document. I definitely recommend checking it out. But I also have more thoughts about it, which I will get to in just one moment. Yeah, that's a teaser, audience. If you're thinking about stopping listening now, don't.
No, there's more to come.
In Troll 2, this was the feature film debut of all but 3 of the cast members. David McConnell, who played Brent, one of the 4 dudes. I can't remember which one was Brent. He worked as an extra. It'll be in my notes. I wrote down. I have most of them identified by name. But he worked as an extra in Heathers in an uncredited role. So he was probably just in a crowd scene, and someone was like, "That's the guy from Troll 2," because that's the kind of fandom Troll 2 has. Lance C. Williamson, who played Mr. Presence, has an uncredited role as Private Will in the Elliot Gould comedy Whiffs.
Wow.
Which was
okay.
It was sort of, I think, a follow-up to Stripes. Was that the Bill Murray movie?
I think so. I mean, that's a Bill Murray movie.
The one where he's in the army, that was Stripes?
Yeah, I think that sounds right.
Yeah, it was like they were trying to make other sort of military comedies, and he was an army guy that might have had like a really good sense of smell or something. I don't know.
Okay.
Smell came into it. The Whiffs was about smell.
Oh, wow.
Now,
Oh, got it. Okay. I was wondering.
Yeah.
There's a detective show where it was, or one of these modern, it's like the guy who could tell when you're lying or the psychic, but he could just smell.
Yeah, that was
the sniffer.
Yeah, that was an Eastern European show. It was weird as hell.
It was weird as hell. It was weird as hell. But I digress.
Now, the final actor that had worked previously with in any film was Michael Paul Stevenson, who played the son Joshua. He had a major role in Fragasso's previous film, Beyond Darkness.
Oh, okay.
Now, Stevenson, 19 years later, would direct the documentary Best Worst Movie about Troll 2 and its fandom. Strangely, nowhere in that documentary does Stevenson talk about their previous working relationship. When instead acts like this all came out of nowhere for him. That to me is really weird.
That is kind of
strange. That is weird.
Yeah.
It's notable in its absence, and it does make me also want to check out Beyond Darkness.
Yeah.
Now, the rest of the cast were all pretty much first-timers hoping to break into the biz from other walks of life. For instance, George Hardy, who played the dad, was a dentist, and he was a major figure in the documentary. He was a very charismatic guy. You can understand why. And he sort of always wanted to become a movie star, but he went into dentistry because obviously that's a more reliable line of work. But now he's like, maybe I got that taste of the American dream.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, I would not be surprised, though, if the suicide rate for dentists is higher than that for actors. It's like crazy high.
Really?
It's true.
Wow.
I don't mean to laugh, sorry.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, it would be rough looking inside people's mouths all day.
Oh, yeah. I don't even.
And every time they tell you they floss, but they don't. Now, let's see, who else? Don Packard, who played the general store owner at that point, was living in an inpatient mental facility and would be able to go out and film on furloughs on weekends.
Okay.
Robert Ormsby, who played Grandpa Seth, was sort of just a local Salt Lake City community theater type. Never did any other films, but hey, he got one under his belt. He got to live the dream for a while.
Mm-hmm.
For the most part, this was also the last film for most of the cast. Most were not even informed when it was released, but found out either by stumbling onto it on cable or finding it at the video store or having a relative call them and say, hey, you're on HBO right now. What is this piece of garbage that you're in?
Wow.
But they can all sort of look back on it and laugh.
Oh, of course.
Now, the last bit of context I wanted to talk about, and I dropped a link into the chat, is obviously the dialogue in Troll 2 is a huge part of what's going on. And it's one thing for us to say to you, oh, this dialogue was translated from Italian to English. And you would say, oh, well, okay, whatever. But I thought it would be more impactful if you could hear us deliver some of this dialogue. So if you guys want to open up this page, we could each just take one of the one-liners up top and then maybe do some of the dialogue in the dialogue section.
Okay.
Okay.
So, Greg, why don't you kick us off?
They're eating her, and then they're going to eat me. Oh my God.
Grandpa Seth has been gone for more than 6 months now. You were at the funeral, and I know it was very difficult for you. It was also very difficult for your father, and for Holly, and for me, his daughter.
Half man, half plant. A goblin's favorite food.
Elliot is not my beau. He's my boyfriend, and he told me last night that he loves me and that he wanted to come on this trip with me and my family.
Nilbog! It's goblins spelled backwards! This is their kingdom!
Coffee.
There's no coffee in Nilbog. It's the devil's drink.
Eggs.
Blah!
Bacon?
Are you crazy, boy? We're vegetarians here in Nilbog. Didn't you know that? Here's some Nilbog milk. Special milk. High in vitamin content. Here, it's free.
Free?
Of course it's free. We love tourists here in Nilbog. Try some, boy, and have some of your friends drink some also.
We need Grandpa Seth here!
But how do we get him to come? Having a seance, maybe?
You're a genius, big sister!
There are sandwiches for tonight in here. It'll go easier on you if you eat 'em. It'll make our work easy. Otherwise, we'll be forced to kill you violently. Throws bag of sandwiches at front door.
It would be a shame! The blood would mix with the meat! We'd have to leave it in vinegar for the whole night!
After his female companion sips the broth and starts immediately getting sick. What's wrong? What's wrong with her?
Quit worrying about her and drink your broth.
So obviously just lots of great naturalistic dialogue.
Very, very real.
Yeah. Well, that sort of dull thud in the momentum of the show means just one thing. It's time for me to transition to the next segment by playing the plot bumper.
Plot bumper, listen to me. I'm gonna give you the plot summary. Come on, baby, here's the synopsis. Plot bumper, plot bumper.
We open on an old man reading a young boy a bedtime story about goblins. We learn that goblins can assume human form and will trick people into eating their food, which will turn them into half plants, which the goblins love. The old man, Grandpa Seth, tells the boy that this story is actually true. You know, this story is based on a true story.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like Brotherhood of the Wolf.
Oh, yeah.
Suddenly, Mom busts in and Pop Pop disappears. She explains that Grandpa Seth actually died 6 months ago, but it's not all bad. The family leaves for a month-long vacation tomorrow.
That'll make anything better.
And that will make him forget all about Grandpa Seth.
A month
course.
heals all wounds.
It's
Yeah.
true.
And the fact that they're taking a month-long vacation, that's how you can tell this movie was written by Europeans.
Mm.
They'll be spending a whole month in a house swap with a family from a small farming community with the very normal name of Nilbog.
Yeah.
We soon meet Dad, who looks kind of like the Craig T. Nelson you can get. But with a very charming Bama accent. And he is excited for country living. We also meet Holly, Josh's sister, who wants her boyfriend Elliot to stop hanging out with his boys so they can have some alone time. Elliot insists that he will invite himself on their family vacation and they can have the whole summer together. Unfortunately, Elliot doesn't make it in time to leave with the family the next morning, so they take off without him. Holly's very disappointed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, understandable. Who wouldn't want to spend all summer?
I love that Elliot's like flaw as a boyfriend is he just loves his boys too much. He loves his friends, and that's a problem.
Yeah.
It's a problem for Holly, and her dad really hates it. And
Oh, yeah.
not totally sure why, but
His friends are dumbasses.
well, that's true.
I think that's mostly.
I could understand thinking of them as being a bad influence, but I thought they were cool dudes.
Also, I feel like it's one thing to let your daughter's boyfriend come on a vacation with you, even though she apparently didn't ask until the morning they were leaving. But
Yeah,
it's
it's
another
also-
thing to let her boyfriend and 3 other teenage boys you don't know come with, you know?
Yeah.
The whole thing is bizarre to me, which is just like, you're coming. He's like, all right. It's like, I didn't think he liked him. So why would
Right.
anyone want them there? This is all very
Yeah.
last minute. And everyone's just like, well, we waited, like we waited an hour and a half. Like, we tried. It's like, why did you try though? You don't seem to like him.
I mean, I think the flip side of this coin is
Mm.
I can't remember what movie we watched that you said it about, Greg. But you said that motivation isn't so much important because what's happening is just sort of what's happening.
Yeah, yeah. That was Zardoz, I believe.
Yes, that was right. Yeah. I think this is similarly in one thing that I realized about this movie very quickly was that if it was in Italian, it would have made sense. It would have been fine.
Yeah, I guess that makes some sense.
Like nobody would have blinked. It's like, of course they're acting weird. It's an Italian horror movie. Things are weird in an Italian horror movie because it's much more expressionistic than American horror movies.
Yep.
And I think that disconnect is why it was so impactful for American audiences.
I think that makes good sense, actually.
So yeah, Elliot doesn't make it to leave with them. Holly's very disappointed. Josh sees Grandpa Seth standing by the side of the road with a sign that says "Stop them."
Yeah.
He begs the family to pull over, insisting that he's gonna vomit or piss his pants or something. He's constantly having bodily issues, this boy.
Yeah.
He runs over to...
I just said, well, I didn't mean anything else. That was the end of it.
He is a young boy, you know.
Yeah.
Pop tells Josh that he needs to stop the family because they're driving straight into the kingdom of the goblins. But when the family pulls back to pick Josh up, it seems he was just talking to some hitchhiking hobo who they leave by the side of the road.
Without even saying a word to him. Just
yeah.
It was very rude.
Yeah. To be fair, I mean, it's indefensible. Meanwhile, we see Elliot has cut the baby in half, such as it were, and is bringing his boys with him in an RV to his romantic summer vacation. It's the best of both worlds.
And he's promised them. He's promised them a lot of available women.
Yeah,
a lot of hot girls.
A lot of single babes in Nilbog.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, it sounds like they're probably going to have the best summer ever. Meanwhile, the Waitses, that's the name of the family, they arrive at the house and they meet the family they'll be swapping with. The Presences will all have bad vibes and cloverleaf birthmarks. The good news is they left a bunch of food for them. But then Grandpa Seth appears to Josh and tells him that the food is all cursed. But he has the ability to freeze time for 30 seconds.
Yeah.
The longest 30 seconds I've ever
Yeah.
seen on film.
Oh, yeah.
I wish I had taken a watch to it. It might, because I bet it was a literal 30. So Josh has to spend that 30 seconds trying to figure out a way to stop them from eating. So he pisses on all their food, including the
It's a
food.
great choice. It's a great choice.
Yes. But you know the thing, they've got the food like right at their lips, like a millimeter
Yes.
away. So
Yeah.
like
He is pissing in their mouths.
yeah. That's
They're at
I
least
love
getting
this
some
movie.
splashback. Yeah. Because if you started pissing while they were frozen in time, they wouldn't have even been able to close their mouths.
Yeah.
So obviously the whole family's very upset. You get the definitive line from the film from Dad: "You can't piss on hospitality. I won't allow it."
I'll allow it.
Mm-hmm.
As he theatrically, I did this. It was a good bit. Like when he starts to undo his belt buckle, and you have this one moment of like, wait, does he hit the kid? I don't remember him hitting
Right,
the kid,
right.
but no, he's tightening his belt
Yes.
loops so he can
Mhm.
get through the hunger pain.
So we won't feel
Yeah.
hunger pains.
Damn, just go to bed, Dad. We've been driving all day. Now, back in the RV, the boys are having the best summer ever. They're drinking sodas and watching a weird movie on TV. Arnold, the boy that's wearing glasses, steps out for a smoke, and then he sees a hot babe running through the woods.
Isn't that interesting?
It certainly got his attention. He's been looking for hot babes this whole time. But this hot babe seems to be in distress. So he goes and he runs after her and eventually tackles her in the middle of the woods, which,
Classic move.
yeah, I mean, take no for an answer, Arnold. Come on. But it turns out she's being chased by goblins, and that's why she was so freaked out. Listener, if you're waiting for trolls to appear in this movie, I have some bad news.
Yeah.
Not a single troll in the film.
No trolls in
Not
Troll
one.
2.
I did watch Troll 1 for my research.
Were there trolls in that?
There was a troll.
A troll.
Yeah, someone asked me that at work, and I was like, I think there is.
I thought Troll was pretty good. And this movie has no relationship to it whatsoever.
No, it was originally produced under the title Goblins, but they were like, boy, that troll was such a hit. Let's see if we can catch some of that troll heat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like Troll.
Troll-
I thought that was a
It had its
solid
little charms.
Yeah.
And Troll was directed by John Beckler, who directed next week's movie, Ghoulies Go to College.
Mm.
So, little tie in there. And you can see him in a painting in that movie with a ghoulie. So,
Oh,
Yeah.
small world.
yeah, that's fun.
Yeah. And Troll, I would say, was less bizarre than Troll 2, but also less
Definitely.
entertaining.
I just remember them saying Harry Potter a lot. And I
Yes.
also
Oh
captioned
yes.
that one
I
as
forgot
well.
about that.
I had to caption that one. So I was like, are they saying Harry Potter? Are they saying Harry Potter this many times? I have to Google this for 1 second. It's very
Yeah.
bizarre.
Because there was a gag at the beginning of the movie where he meets Harry Potter Sr. There are two characters named Harry Potter, first of all.
For a wild time.
And then Harry Potter Sr. meets one of his neighbors, and his neighbor keeps on introducing him to other people, but he calls him like Harry Potter. And so Harry Potter has to keep on correcting him. He's like, no, my name is Harry Potter. No, my name is actually Harry Potter. I'm
Yeah.
Harry Potter. He says it like 6 times in the course
No,
of that.
it was really weird captioning. I was like, I keep typing, like, we've had to put Harry Potter in this a lot already.
Yeah, this motherfucker is named Harry Potter. So Arnold and the gal are sort of surrounded by goblins, but they run away, where they run into an old meeting house that is inhabited by one Credence Leonore Gilgood.
Of
Who's
ancient
incredible.
Druid origin.
She's amazing.
She is
my
top
favorite.
5 characters.
Absolutely.
Credence explains that she's descended from druids and gives the gal and Arnold some vegetable broth for their agonies. The broth turns the gal into a pile of algae that is quickly eaten by some goblins, and Arnold becomes an immobile plat man. Credence says, "Now she is one with the vegetable world." Another great line. Meanwhile, Holly is dancing alone in her room wearing an Aries Garfield nightshirt.
By the way, I tracked it down because I was curious what it said on it. It says, it's Aries and Garfield with the Rams, and it says, "Courageous, blunt, and direct. This person has the compassion of a rock."
Oh,
I love it.
Yeah, it's so good.
Love it. I'm so glad
it's an
you tracked
amazing
that
costume
down.
piece. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I know there's a lot of copyright in this film. There's like a lot of copyright. Like it's full of things that never should be allowable to be shot or something. It just seems like someone, like if it weren't Troll 2, it'd be like, you can't do this.
Yeah, somebody would be like, "You're using our trademark and we don't want to be associated with it."
And they're using like 17 or something absolutely crazy.
Yeah, and like big ones, like I'm pretty sure at some point there was several DC properties. There was like a Joker poster in his room and a Batman the movie poster in his room, just like there was a Batman the movie billboard in She-Devil, another crossover to another episode.
I will say that it did make his room feel very realistic to me, though, in a way that most films can't be.
Yeah.
Well, and Holly's too was very. She's got a canopy bed and posters of. I don't remember any of the movie posters, but the heartthrobs are Tom Cruise and Johnny Depp.
Perfect.
Nice.
All perfect.
Now, let's see. Pop manifests in Holly's mirror. She screams and runs away, which wakes up the whole family.
Yeah.
And then she's like, "I'm not sleeping in that room. My grandfather's ghost's head was in that room." And Josh says, "Let's just trade rooms." And everybody says, "Great," and hits the sack. Except for Josh, who talks to Grandpa Seth, and Grandpa says that, "Yeah, no, you are in the Kingdom of the Goblins. Like I said you were going to be, now you're there. You got to get out of here."
You also skip one of my favorite pieces of dialogue from this film, where he's like, "Grandpa, what were you doing in Holly's room?" And he's like, "I haven't had time to learn the layout of this place yet."
Yeah. I love that one too.
I'm still learning the layout of this place. It's just like, yeah, I bet it's tough. It's a new home. He's a ghost. He's got to sort it out.
I'm very curious what the sort of afterlife that exists in the world of Troll 2. I would love to see a Beetlejuice of Troll 2. You know what I mean?
Oh, that would
something
be
from the ghost's point of view.
That would be incredible.
Back in the RV, Drew realizes that they didn't bring any food, and so he jogs into town. Yeah, best summer ever. Just bros being bros. We'll figure it out, man.
I also love that he's like, "I got to go in town, so I'm going to practice from a track team. Like, I'm just going to get into it because I can run. I'm young. I'm going to run there. And I'm going to, like, get into it. We're ready."
Yeah, go for it, bro. That's how you make a champion.
That's right.
And Elliot and Brent are in bed together. They slept in the same bed. No shirts on.
Yeah.
Okay, so that one was Brent.
Yes.
The one that, yes. Okay. He was the one whose name I didn't get down. That's what I was thinking. So en route to town, Drew gets picked up by a sheriff with the impossibly good name of Sheriff Gene Freak.
That's such a good name.
Yeah.
The names there's great names in this. The Waits, like that's not a name. The Presence and Sheriff Gene Freak.
Gene Freak is an unbeatable name. It's
and Presence is really great too.
Presence is also really good. I don't want to sleep on the Presences. Gene Freak gives Drew a sandwich filled with something green.
Yeah.
All the goblin food is so unappetizing looking.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It all looks like vanilla pudding with green food coloring put in it.
The honest truth is, if someone handed me some of that, I'd be like, "Oh, what's in this?" And whatever they said, I'd be like, "Well, I'm gonna pack this for later."
Yeah, I just ate.
Well, thank you so much. I'm just gonna put this in the fridge, and tonight after dinner we'll check it out, and
Well,
then just promptly
instead,
throw it away.
Drew he's got that young man appetite. He's an athlete, so he's got to feed the beast. So he wolfs that thing down.
Kids think they're indestructible.
Yeah. Gene drops him off at the general store where the owner only sells locally harvested spoiled milk.
Mm-hmm.
But he does give it away for free. So he's got that going for him.
I love that they don't refrigerate it. That's my favorite part. It's just like, here's our milk. It's like,
unrefrigerated Nilbog milk.
Chunky milk.
mhm.
Like, what are they
Mm.
milking in Nilbog? I didn't see any cows. I'm just saying.
That's fair.
That's a good
I would
question.
not. It could very well be that there was some sort of brood queen somewhere that they were harvesting this from.
Wow.
Now, Drew does take a jug with him. And some local so-called humans tell him to go meet up with his buddy Arnold over at Kreenison's place. Now, he just misses Josh and Dad, who arrive shortly thereafter, to find that the grocery store is now closed for church services. Dad decides, you know what, I'm going to take a nap on a park bench. While Josh tries to find Pop by talking into the side view mirror of the car. Doesn't have any luck, but while looking in the side view mirror, he does see a sign that reads Nilbog and realizes that Nilbog is goblin spelled backwards.
It took that much. It took that much.
Yeah.
What
It's not a very
twist.
smart little boy.
None of those people are smart.
Move over, M. Night. Now, he heads out to investigate and finds the goblins in human form attending a church service. They're apparently some sort of Protestants.
I would love to know more about the goblin religion. I really would.
Mm-hmm.
It does seem to be violently vegetarian. We know that. And it does have a conception of hell. We know that. And there are regular communal services. So we're actually piecing it together. They do catch Josh when his skateboard rolls away, giving him away. And they attempt to force feed him some ice cream. They all say in unison, "Open your mouth, my little friend. Please open it." It's very odd.
Yeah.
That's a
Seriously.
word for it. Yeah.
It seems like the kind of thing that you'd write in a script, and then you'd assume everybody who was there would say something to that effect, and it would just be the crowd giving that effect. But no, Fragasso wanted them all to be saying the exact same thing at the exact same time.
He was absolutely right.
No, it does have a very ominous feeling.
Oh, yeah.
Dad busts in and grabs Josh. They're getting out of there. He's definitely picking up some bad vibes from these people, especially the preacher. They all have those little cloverleaf birthmarks.
I love that they point that out, because it's just like they've all got cloverleaf birthmarks. It's like, and that denotes.
They've all got something.
Like,
yeah, it's like, is this common goblin? Like, is this something we all? It's like, oh, cloverleaf birthmark. You're a goblin. Yeah, obviously.
I'm not going to say it necessarily says goblin, but to me it says something's up.
Well, I mean, sure. Yeah. If I see 20 people with exactly the same birthmark, I'm gonna have some questions. I'll give you that.
Yeah, like, are you all related?
Yeah. How does this happen?
Is there some sort of scarification that's part of your religion, or are those just burn marks?
Yeah.
Well, on the way home, they pick up Holly, who has given her final ultimatum to Elliot.
Her practicing the ultimatum is fantastic also.
Yes. All of poor Holly's dialogue, I feel like, rings the least true.
Sure.
Elliot does decide to go with them, leaving Brent in the RV alone, since Arnold and Drew are both now at Credence's place. Drew has showed up at Credence's place. He fails to rescue Arnold before succumbing to the cursed sandwich that Sheriff Gene Freak gave him. So Credence blends Arnold down into green juice as punishment for trying to escape. She also takes a chainsaw to him and says, "This'll just feel like a tickle," and then he starts to laugh. Creepiest
Yeah.
moment in the movie.
Yeah, that's pretty weird.
I thought that was genuinely affecting. I thought that was a
Oh,
good.
yeah.
Back at the house, the whole town has shown up very quickly with a very big spread of food for the family. Even the preacher's there, and he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry about that thing where we were trying to force feed your son ice cream. To make it up to you, we brought you a bunch of food, and we're all gonna watch you eat it."
Yeah, very nice apology. Very normal, not weird, not creepy.
And Mom has waited this whole time, even though at this point she has not eaten for, I'm gonna guess, roughly 18 hours.
Yeah.
Josh yells that they're all goblins. And the goblins are all singing and dancing, and there's a big buffet. And Dad
It's all
says,
very normal.
Yeah.
It is. It's very normal.
it's
The
probably
vibes
the most.
are not. I don't know.
Mhm.
I feel like I work in a town that's comparable in size to Nilbog, and I could see this happening. Maybe not with everyone in town, but probably a handful. And then you'd look at all the food, and it was weird. But who knows? People in a small town eat weird food. Now, Dad sends Josh to his room because he's making such a ruckus. There, Josh attempts to summon Pop Pop again, but instead he gets Credence in goblin form, leaping through the mirror. Luckily, Grandpa Seth is not far behind and chops Credence's hand off with an axe.
At this point, he's corporeal then? Like, at this point, he's, like, entered our plane?
I would say so. He's
Apparently.
carrying
Yeah.
physical objects.
Yeah.
Don't
I love
worry
that he
about it.
comes
Don't worry
equipped.
about it. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, he's ready for battle when he pops into the reel. He's like, I have weapons. It's like, yes, Grandpa. Yes.
Yeah. Credence teleports back to her lair and grows her hand back while Pop Pop gives Josh a Molotov cocktail. It says, "We'll use this to create a distraction." Yeah.
That's the best thing you can say when you hand someone a Molotov cocktail.
Don't worry, this is just part of the plan.
That's right. It certainly will cause a distraction.
They're meant to lure everyone out of the house by starting a large fire when the preacher crashes them. Get it together, Anderson. They're about to lure everyone out of the house by starting a large fire when the preacher catches them. He begins an exorcism to get Pop Pop out of there and send him, quote, back to hell, unquote.
As for you, old man, go back to your kingdom of shadows.
Yes.
Yeah. So apparently Grandpa Seth was in hell.
He did some stuff.
Well, Josh asks him about that, and he says, "No, I wasn't in hell, but I knew a guy there, and he taught me a couple tricks."
Yeah.
Which, once again,
I didn't catch that, actually.
the cosmology of this afterlife is fascinating to me.
Yeah. There's a lot in Troll
It really
2.
is, yeah.
And one of the tricks that he taught him, apparently, is the ability to cast the third level spell Lightning Bolt.
Mm.
Which he uses, or actually probably was more of a call lightning, if I'm being honest, because it comes down from the sky and hits the preacher's, who's now holding the Molotov cocktail, which explodes. The family comes out to see a man running around engulfed in flames. Dad quickly grabs a fire extinguisher, which the ghost of Pop Pop brought along for just such an occasion.
Smart man. He brought a Molotov cocktail and a fire extinguisher, prepared for all parts
Gotta
of
be
this.
prepared, you know?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Now, here's the situation. Dad extinguishes the preacher, but his corpse, it's not a man corpse. It's a goblin corpse.
Dun,
Dun, dun,
Goblin the
dun.
whole time.
Move over, M. Night.
Mhm.
Where do you think M. Night got his ideas?
It's true.
Has
He
to
was
be there.
really struggling, and then after he watched this, he was like, the psychiatrist should be dead. Just like the preacher is. That's why everyone's freaked out, because the preacher's dead, right? Now all of our heroes are on the same page. Goblins are real. They figured it out. So the family slowly backs into the house as the surrounding town folks stare at them menacingly.
So slowly.
And they got a lot of great faces in this crowd.
They really do.
Yeah.
That was really one of the strongest aspects of this film, was to see all these great faces of just like local people from the greater Salt Lake area who were available that day. Meanwhile, back at Credence's place, she casts a spell to be more normal looking. Before this, she looked very goth. She had very cool glasses. She had like a big eyeshadow situation, a smoky eyeshadow. I'm going to say it.
Hair.
Credence Leonore Gielgud, kind of nice with it.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
She's hot. She's
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's got black mesh gloves that with ruffles at the wrist, but they're only fingerless on the index finger and thumb, and you can see her sharp red fingernails. Just I love that.
yes.
Yeah, and she's got these big crazy eyes. She's always flashing around.
I've got no idea if her performance is hers or the director like encouraging her to do that, but whoever, God bless, because it's like over the top in the most excellent way.
Yeah,
It's
she's
just
wonderful.
excellent.
She gave me a lot of like Tim Curry vibes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I see that.
But
She's my
she
favorite
casts a
character.
spell to make herself
great.
look like a more normal looking hot lady. And then she heads out to the RV to seduce Brent using some corn on the cob.
Very normal. Very normal.
It's
This is
so
like
good though.
Favorite scene of the movie. It's
It's singular. It's truly singular.
yes. Never seen a scene like it in any other movie.
Yes, they are at one point sort of Lady and the Tramping on some corn, both eating from not end to end, but side like across it.
Yeah.
They're not like double filleting a corn cob.
Yeah, because that would be weird. Like
No, instead they're like
too much. It'd be too much.
it's like they're kissing across corn, and then the
yeah.
corn starts to pop and fill the RV. It's very
Which is all
expressionist.
normal. It's all normal.
Great stuff. Fantastic scene.
Yes.
And it sort of makes sense why Brent would sort of be dizzy with lust at the sight of almost any kind of food, because at this point, no human in this film has eaten for roughly 36 hours.
You know, I hadn't
Everybody's
really
very
considered
hungry.
that fact that there is no human food.
Yeah, there's literally
Anywhere
nothing for
in
them
this.
to eat.
That's crazy.
Well, and even at the party, like the family sitting there with the food, holding the plates of food in their lap and not eating.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been able to resist unless I knew about the goblin stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it is very weird how all of the townspeople were like just staring at them, like, but still, you'd think they'd take a bite, just to be polite, but nobody did.
Yeah.
Or just like
No,
a finger
good
on the
for
top.
them,
Just lick the, you know.
Yeah, I'm honestly surprised Mom waited for everybody else to come home. Now, back at the house, the goblins in human form are all sort of surrounding the property. Sheriff Gene Freak tosses a bag of sandwiches at the front porch of the house, saying it'll go easier for them if they kill themselves with the sandwiches.
Mm-hmm.
But instead, they decide they're going to hold a seance to see if Pop Pop can figure out what they need to do. So they summon Pop Pop, who tells them that they need to destroy the chunk of Stonehenge that gives the goblins their power. Obviously.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe they needed to be told. I mean,
No, it's really
it's
extraneous.
obvious.
He teleports Josh to Credence's place and gives him a backpack saying, you can only take out the contents when you really need it, which is kind of Greg's dream.
Yeah. I've always wanted this scenario, and also someone. I mean, it's basically the same thing. Like someone like giving you a whistle. It's like when you need me, use this. You know, it's just like I want this to happen to me at some point.
I mean, I would say pretty much that's what my phone number is for you, Greg. If you need me, use that.
All right. I mean, thank you. I should be very grateful for that. Thank you.
If you need me, use it.
I will, Chris. Thank you.
Now, back at the RV, Credence is done getting freaky. Brent apparently lives. Kudos to Brent.
Yeah.
And she realizes something is up with the stone. She can tell that Josh and Pop Pop are messing with the stone. So she summons the other goblins who've been chasing the Waitses around the house. They've busted into the house at this point, and they're sort of menacing them. But with their short legs, they're kind of easy to evade.
Yeah, they're not real nimble either.
No. They're not, they don't like skitter. They're not, it's like if being attacked by a swarm of Chuckies sort of situation. At Credence's place, Pop Pop is running out of ghost powers and says to Josh, goodbye forever.
Goodbye forever.
Yeah. Always the best final line a character can have, I think.
Yeah.
The line that I had inadvertently used in Dungeons and Dragons several times when I decided I was tired of playing a character and wanted them to kill themselves. Now, Credence is about to feed Josh some green sludge. They've grabbed him and they're going to give him some sludge so they can make him into a half plant, half man and eat him. When he reaches into the backpack that Pop Pop gave him, and he pulls out a double-decker bologna sandwich.
Yes.
No, the goblins are like, no, not meat. We're all vegetarians.
Think of the cholesterol.
Another
great line from Credence.
Yes, delivered perfectly. This sort of lets him bust through the line of goblins and head back to the stone, just as the Waitses show up somehow. Does anybody remember if there was any justification for them getting there, or was it just
the mom said that Grandpa Seth, his voice told them to go there.
Oh, okay. That's a classic Grandpa Seth move.
Thanks, Grandpa Seth.
Yeah, just on the way out. So they're all like, they all touch the stone, and the power of their collective goodness causes the goblins to all start vomiting and explode.
Very cool. Very cool.
Epilogue.
I know that it doesn't matter, but I don't feel that it's been established at all that these people are particularly good.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get where this power of goodness is coming from.
No, they didn't help anyone at any point. They seem at best normal.
Yeah, pretty normal. Also, Joshua keeps yelling, concentrate harder. But like, what am I supposed to be concentrating on? Like, help me out here a little bit.
Do it more.
Do what?
Do this. Do what they're doing.
Put your hand on the
stone. Stop thinking about other things. Epilogue. They all go home. Dad's like, man, I gotta go get some food. Mom, she goes into the fridge, pulls out a red delicious apple, the worst apple.
Yeah.
And eats it.
She pulls out a whole bowl of them.
Indeed, a whole bowl of red. No one needs 8 red delicious apples. And she picks one up and starts munching, and it turns out it's goblin food.
Yeah.
Because it turns her into a pile of algae.
A pile of algae with still 2 beautiful human breasts.
It's true.
Yes.
That's what it and we make sure they show us that, like, first.
I mean, maybe that's what you saw, Kate. I just saw a pile of algae, but
I did not expect tits in literally the last minute of the movie.
Right.
I mean,
they are green, so but they're. I was like, damn, I didn't know she was hiding a set like that under those blouses.
but there was also there was no like head or arms attached to that torso, as I recall.
Yeah, it was
That was a prosthetic situation. That wasn't like an actual nude lady. Anybody out there looking for an actual nude lady to be covered in green slime and eaten by goblins, I'm afraid you're gonna have to keep looking.
Yeah.
But we freeze frame on Josh as he screams, "The end." What a picture.
Wild. Good
incredible.
stuff.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Well, you guys want to give your any final thoughts? Anything we didn't touch on? Give me your 5-star rating. Who wants to start?
I'll start. I would actually give this 3 stars. It was
Okay.
not that bad. It was deeply silly, and the actors aren't all professional, and that shows. But it's also sometimes often funny and unintentionally, but it's sometimes funny on purpose, and it has some fun characters, and I actually found it quite enjoyable.
Yeah.
Well, how about you, Greg?
So it's I hadn't even what's funny is I hadn't even really thought about a star rating when I was doing this. I think it's just kind of a 5 for me just because it's just a classic bad movie. Like if you like bad movies and you haven't seen this one, it's like just do it. It's like it is a
Yeah.
classic for a reason. I can't imagine you're not going to enjoy it. I imagine people who don't like bad movies might like it took me The Room to understand what people liked about bad movies. Uh, and so I think this is one that could do that too, because you just watch it and you're like, wait a minute, what? Like, but it is still not bad in the sense that it's not incompetently made, other than maybe the acting, but like it is pieced and shot together and edited and everything in a way that just like kind of makes sense and actually works. So it's like readable for people, you know, except that the dialogue is just sort of crazy.
Yeah,
And I
the
think it's just
dialogue
like,
is.
yeah, it's just a classic. It's such a good one. I think just a 5. I would say 4, 5. Like it doesn't really matter. It's just tops. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
How about you, Kate? Final
Uh,
thoughts?
yeah,
5-star
well,
rating.
I mean, this was my pick, so obviously, I'm giving it a high rating. I'm going to give it a 5. I think it's really fun. I think it's and one other thing that we didn't kind of touch on is just there are some things that it does well. Like I think the goblin masks, they're not half bad. They're not
No.
great, but for they have character. There's the one with like the really weird eyes and stuff. Arnold
Oh, I
turning
love
into a
that one.
tree like looks pretty good. Like it looks like a guy turning into a
Mhm.
tree. So I think that's nice. Yeah, so it's a 5-star for me, even though the acting really is like 6th grade play level, and
Yeah.
the script doesn't really make sense. Who needs it to make
Yeah.
sense though?
Yeah, that's not what we're watching the movie for.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm gonna give this one a solid 4. I think this is a great entry point for people who want to watch bad movies. I think it's one that you could watch with the whole family. If you
Oh
got a
yeah.
kid that's like, oh, I want to watch like a goofy dumb horror movie, be like, yeah, we can definitely watch Troll 2 if you're like at least 12, I would say. You
Hmm.
know, um, I think the things that are weird about it, once I started tuning into it as an Italian horror movie, it made more sense to me, and then
Mhm.
ironically became less weird. It was like, oh,
You could see that.
it was like a magic eye picture coming in, like, oh, okay. But I think it still does feature a lot of genuinely odd stuff, and it is really fun. And I would say definitely worth your time if you haven't seen it.
Yeah.
So with that, are you guys ready to move on to our final section? The act 3 of the show.
Sure.
Let's do
Yes,
it.
indeed.
All right. Well, then it's time for me to transition to fixing time. This fucking movie, I just don't know what to do. We've got to fix it. Me and you, it's fucking garbage. Every single line, we've got to fix it. 'Cause it's fixing time. It's fixing time, you guys. What if we wanted to make this movie more normal? I have a plan. I have a theory.
All right.
Are you guys ready for my
Let's hear
theory?
it. Yeah.
I'd love to hear it.
Yes.
I think the essence of the problems with this film, and what also makes it, like, obviously the problems are what make the movie great. When I say fixing time, I mean make this movie normal, not make it a better movie. But it would make it at least like a normal movie that would make sense to a normal person.
Which would be kind of boring. Let's be real.
The reason why it doesn't make sense is that it's sort of stuck in two uncanny valleys. It doesn't know whether or not it's an Italian movie or an American movie, and it doesn't know whether or not it's a family movie or a horror movie. You can have some family horror movies, like, but they're very few and far between the ones that work. Like, I think there's Gremlins and The Gate, and that might be it.
Poltergeist,
Okay.
maybe? I don't.
Maybe.
I mean, Poltergeist is more of a movie that you watch too young.
That's fair.
So I thought I set up a little Punnett square where we pushed it into any of these four directions, right? So if we made it an American horror movie, an Italian horror movie, an American family movie, or an Italian family movie.
Okay.
For instance, if I wanted to make Troll 2 an American horror movie, first of all, I would have someone do a localization pass on the script, and I would get rid of the green goo and the plant stuff. They just want to eat you. It's blood now. And it's going to be focused on the boys in the RV instead of on the family.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd
That's
watch
more-
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now, if I wanted to make it an Italian horror movie, I would trade out the Waitses for a ballet troupe.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Some beautiful ladies to have horrible things happen to.
Mhm.
Yeah, and everything else is fine. Everything else is good. If I wanted to make it an American family movie, I would make it centered on Josh, and I would make it more about defending the house from goblins. It would basically be Home Alone with goblins. That sounds
Okay.
great.
Well, that'd be fun. Yeah.
I think you need to write that script, actually.
Yeah, that's my pitch for Troll 3. It's Home Alone with goblins. If I wanted to make, actually, it would be all four of these movies. It would be an anthology. If I wanted to make it an Italian family movie, a genre that I know very little about, but I would just make it like the prologue, the story that Grandpa was reading Josh. And it would just be about, like it would be like a fairy tale movie about
Okay.
a prince encountering some goblins.
Put some saints in it.
Yeah.
What's the
Yeah.
some anti-goblin saints? I don't know what
Yeah.
saint you would invoke against goblins.
I mean, I bet a lot of them would probably be good. I'll
Yeah.
go with St. Anthony. He seems like the classic one for an Italian to pray to.
Yeah.
So that's my fixing time theory. What do you guys think? Do you guys have any fixes? Any notes for my fixes?
I think what you're saying makes a lot of sense in every direction, actually. And so it's kind of interesting to hear, like when you were like, and we'll focus on the boys, it's like that would actually make it more American, really. Just like the little things. It's like,
Yeah.
this textually makes a lot of sense to me.
Well, thank you.
If I were going to fix it, I would just focus on Grandpa and the afterlife and maybe make it about like some sort of like long form battle between Grandpa and the goblins through time and afterlives. You know what I mean?
Mm.
That's the part that really I find very interesting.
Like every generation has to reach back to Grandpa Seth when they face
Yeah.
their inevitable battle against goblins.
Yeah, exactly. Or every generation is reaching to their generation's Grandpa Seth, whatever that might be, and maybe it's the same entity taking the shape for each person. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I like that a lot. That's a very rich detail.
Yeah.
Anna, Kate, you got any pitches for a fixed Troll 2?
Oh,
It's a conundrum of a question.
Yeah, I don't know. It's
I mean, it's
so
perfect the way
close
it
to
is.
perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
I maybe I don't know if this would actually make it more normal, but I would love a movie more focused on Credence, because she
Mm.
is
Yeah.
my favorite character, and I think you
Yeah.
know, what's her story? Like, why does she have a stone from Stonehenge? Like,
you know,
Yeah.
now that I remember, that was also my idea. I was like, let's
yeah,
just make Credence the main character.
what
Yeah.
and the corn scene,
She's
like
so fun.
it like, why is this scene here? Like, it's not adding anything really, except it's just
Mhm.
awesome,
Yeah.
Yeah,
and I
just a
love that.
little
I love it.
dose more sex appeal for the
Yeah,
fans. You
she's
know?
coming up
Mhm.
the thing with like looking like Kate Bush or something, and her with her wild black hair and being sensual
Yeah.
with the horn. Really strange scene.
Really
Yeah,
fantastic.
never seen the like. Well, I think then it might be time for our game. It's time for a little When's Going On.
Oh, okay.
And I say, hey, yeah, hey, yeah. I said, hey, when's going on? And I said, hey, yeah, hey, yeah. I said, hey, when's going on?
All right, so we're talking about films that have been written by the tag team of Claudio Fragasso and Rosella Drudi.
Okay.
I love it.
So I'm going to give you the title and I'm going to give you the description. And you guys need to guess if they if this movie came out before or after Troll 2.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, question number 1. Robo War. A group of commandos in the jungles of a remote island are stalked by a cyborg named Omega 1.
Oh.
What year was Troll 2?
Troll 2 was 1990.
Okay.
After.
I'm gonna say after.
I'm going to say after as well.
Sounds very 90s.
I'm sorry, you guys, this was before. This was in 1988. It was a Predator ripoff.
Oh.
So I was concerned that with 90, it's like it could be slightly before, and I feel like after is the obvious choice. So I kind of want to say before, but I still didn't.
Well,
Just expressing regrets. I
That's
guess.
what he says now, you know.
Yeah, right?
it's all right. We still got plenty of game left to play. Question number 2, Karate Man.
Ooh.
A martial arts champion loses his title during the Karate World Championships and collapses to the ground in a diabetic coma.
Hmm.
I really want to see this movie.
Wild.
Yeah, it sounds really good.
Before.
I'm gonna go after on this one again.
I'm going after.
All right. I'm sorry, my love. Greg and Kate have got it. It came out in 2022.
Whoa!
Okay.
Wow.
I didn't think it'd be that much after.
Which makes me want to see it even more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Question number 3. You might have heard of this one. Terminator 2.
Mm.
A team
What?
A team of environmental researchers in a future Venice are being killed by mysterious creatures, and only a team of soldiers can hope to save them.
Oh, is
Wow.
that what that movie's about? Huh.
That's
Sounds
the plot of
awesome.
Terminator 2.
That sounds awesome. I'm going to say before.
Before.
Okay.
Well,
Greg?
with my guts on this one, I'm going to go after.
Sorry, Greg, that one is before. Anna's on the board and Kate takes the lead, 2-1 to 1.
Hey.
Question number 4. Cop game.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
In the final days of the Vietnam War, someone is killing the officers of the elite Cobra Force. 2 undercover military police officers are assigned to the case, which leads them from the streets of Saigon to the front lines.
Wow.
Cop game.
Cop game.
After.
I'm going to say before again. Vietnam War feels very 70s,
Like
80s.
an 80s concern.
Yeah.
Interesting. Greg, what do you think?
So I think Kate's right about that, but I'm going to go after.
Well, you were right. Kate was right. Kate gets the point. It was 1988.
Wow.
3-1 to 1. Question number 5. Monster Dog.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
These titles are amazing.
Don't you want to watch the rest of this guy's movies?
Yeah.
Two fans, expand your horizons.
I wanted to do that last night. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was really glad I watched Night Killer. Anyway, Monster Dog, a rock star played by Alice Cooper, returns to his childhood home to shoot a music video while a pack of wild dogs kill local residents.
Wow.
That
Wow.
sounds amazing.
Ah.
That sounds
Yeah.
amazing.
The poster is really good.
I will say before.
I'm going to go after on this one.
Okay. Greg?
This is tough for me because I'm doing math in my brain and trying to be predictive, but we're going to go after.
Well, sorry, it was before.
Yeah.
Anna gets the point.
Hey.
3-2 to 1. Kate, Anna, Greg. Question number 6. Palermo, Milan, one way. A team of cops protect a key witness as he travels from Palermo to Milan to testify against La Cosa Nostra.
Ooh.
Boy, these guys, they love cops and soldiers, huh? A lot of cops.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say before. That sounds very Italian.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so too.
What gave that away? The Palermo to Milan or the Cosa Nostra?
Tough to say. I'm going to go before.
Kate, did you say before?
Yeah, I said before too.
Sorry, that one was after 1995. No one gets the point.
You know what I hate is I
Wow.
think I've said
Okay.
after to everything, and that's the only reason I said before this time.
The last question. Women's prison massacre.
Ooh.
4 escaped male convicts seize control of a women's prison.
Oof.
Ooh.
It's funny to escape from prison and then break into another one.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yikes.
They terrorize the inmates, including reporter Emmanuel, who is incarcerated on trumped-up charges.
Wow.
Before.
Yeah, I'll say before.
I'm gonna say after just to spice things up here.
Okay, well, that was perhaps a little too piquant, Kate, because it was before 1983. Kate and Anna are dual winners, both with 3 points.
Hey.
Greg. Commiserations with your lone deuce. But I guess that means I'm the big wiener because I stumped you, getting 4 that no one got correct. No, I did that wrong. No, you guys won. Anyway, congratulations. to our winners. It's time for the Baddie Awards. Speaking of winners, boy, what a transition that. Now you're messing with
The Baddie Award.
Now you're messing with the Baddie Awards. Now you're messing with
The Baddie Award.
Now you're messing with the Baddie Awards.
Congratulations to all the nominees.
That's right. Congratulations to all our nominees. I'll kick off the Baddie Awards.
All right.
And I'm going to give the Ali Sheedy in Breakfast Club Award for the worst glow up to Credence Leonore Gielgud, played by Deborah Reed. She was definitely hotter before they put her in through the hot making montage. I mean, her teeth and her mouth had some weak points that got cleared up, but the overall look better before, in my opinion.
Yeah. Agreed.
All right. And I'm going to say we're going to start a tradition of whoever gives a Baddie Award chooses who gives the next one. And I'm choosing Greg.
All right. So my Baddie Award goes to Best Grandpa, and that goes to Grandpa Seth because he's the best.
All
He
right.
can do whatever he wants, whenever he wants, however he wants. If he wants to show up with an axe in real life, he's going to. I've never seen a more relied upon character who is dead the entire film. Like, he's the only one who can really, like, anytime they're like, we're in trouble, we better get Grandpa. It's like, Grandpa's dead. And yet he's still the one who's the active agent in this thing. It's amazing, and he's fantastic. Everything he says is amazing. Love Grandpa.
In a way, he's kind of like the Han of Troll 2.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I would like to hear your Baddie Award, Anna.
Oh, well, I'll give a Baddie Award to the official road trip song of bad movies, going to "Row, Row, Row Your Boat," which they also sang in monos. That was real funny to have those.
I love that too, because the mom's like, sing that song I like so much. And then it's
Yes.
row, row, row your boat.
In this one, were they at least able to get a round going?
They did, but it was weird.
Kind of, yeah. They didn't. It wasn't quite a normal.
No.
Yeah, I think someone just joined in instead of doing a round. It was like, what? Do you not know how to do this?
I don't know if they do.
Well, Kate.
Oh, my turn.
Oh, yes, sorry.
It's all right.
Well, I mean, we kind of talked about this, but I got to give the shout out to Deborah Reed, who plays Credence. She is working on a level above everyone else in this movie. You know, I think I mentioned, like, most of the acting is about, like, maybe a 6th grade play level, and she's out there. She's just going for it. I don't know. Like, I don't know if I would call it a good performance exactly, but it's super fun to watch.
I would call it electric.
Yeah.
Electric, yes, that's a good descriptor. That's her eyes and her voice and just everything about her. I love her. She's a queen.
Yes, shout out to Deborah Reed.
Yeah.
We love you to death.
Did she do anything else?
Oh, yes. She's still out there doing stuff, I believe.
Yeah, I think.
Because the honest truth is, I would definitely check out her oeuvre. You know, I would like to know what else she's done, because she leaves an indelible mark.
I'm not sure how much of it is like stuff that, like, she might have just done like local stuff, but you know, I'd have to look. I do not remember her IMDb.
Well, if she did anything else that is viewable, she's like really wonderful in this thing.
Yeah, she crushes. And listener, you crushed for making it all the way to the end of the episode. Amazing stuff. Congratulations to you.
Hooray!
And obviously we want to say a big thanks to you, Kate, for choosing this great movie. We all had a blast watching. Thank you so much for choosing it. Thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me. Super fun.
Do you have anything that you want to plug? Is there anything that you're doing that you want to talk about?
Not really.
Okay. Do you want people to be able to find you, or should you remain anonymous?
Ooh.
I mean, I gave your full name, but
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you can find me on the Blue Ski,
yeah.
at the catriarch.bsky.social. It's like
Yes.
matriarch or patriarch, but with a K.
Track down Kate, a great follow. And why don't you track us down next week when we will have our long delayed, recorded out of order, recorded once, and the recordings were lost by yours truly. But we got together again and we did Ghoulies Go to College with Al Bates, formerly of the Gone But Not Forgotten podcast. Take a look around. You don't want to miss it. Greg hated the movie. I loved it.
Sure did.
I liked it, but I'm not on the episode.
You liked it, Anna?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it would have been. And hey, listener, you know what I'm about to say if you've listened all the way through the end of the episode. I'm going to say you probably got your phone in your hand right now. And if you've heard me say this before, you're going to know that I'm going to ask you to put 5 stars on there. And you probably haven't already because we don't have nearly as many 5 stars as we have listeners. You can make a difference. You can give us 5 stars. You can even give us a subscribe or a follow or a comment or a rating, whatever it is that the platform that you're on right now allows you to do to interact with us. That would be great. Helps us beat the algorithms. We got to beat those algorithms, brother. Don't let a computer control your destiny.
That's right.
And if you want to reach out to us directly, you can email us at favoritebadmoviepod@gmail.com. You can also, in the show description, you can find our link tree where you can find our Instagram, our Blue Sky, our YouTube channel where I've been posting little trailers for the show. You can get hyped. You can also join our Discord. Kate's on the Discord.
I am. Yeah.
I'm on the Discord. Anna's on the Discord. I've almost talked Greg into it. At this point.
Oh, yes. We're going to get there.
We're listeners. Email us and say, Greg, join the Discord. Greg, join the Discord. Put that in the subject line.
Listen, I got 4 days off in the week coming up. I'll get it done. Don't you worry.
And until next time, I guess just be good. Oh, and here comes the closing credit music from Troll 2. It was great.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.